Hey guys, this is Ryan from El Topo Loco. A lot of people did like the budget version of King Vegeta just because the promos are really expensive. So it's nowhere near tier one, at least with the budget version. Of course, if you get the mono red version with all the promos or the red green version, those ones could be probably considered at least tier one, maybe tier 1.5, depending on how the meta folds out. But I did want to show at least a few gameplay videos of um, the budget version in action. So here we're playing Stevie Wonder, him and his friend. I played both of them with Bulma builds. Bulma probably is like a tier 2 leader, so like it's still a fairly competitive leader, but it's not like the most not the most competitive leader. So I mean, I just want to see how it does in action against a fairly good deck. Stevie's friend, originally I played him in his Bulma build, and it was a lot of control, and it was a really good matchup. I'm not going to show that one because like his deck did a lot of like anti play by effects because he kept on playing the Vegito, doing the -2 with the unison and preventing me from doing any effects. And I had to really play around it by hard casting guys. And it was actually kind of fun, but it was a grind. But I was able to control his field basically the whole time. Stevie's deck's a little bit different. I think his, if I remember correctly, his was maybe a little bit more aggressive. Whereas Stevie's friend, which I think was poisoned something, he does show up in the match to kind of commentate here and there. Um, his was more control based. But turn one, I'm just going to be playing Invader. Going to get this Vegeta out, and this allows me to search for my fusion pieces, which is really nice because I did have to charge this one Vegeta my turn one, so I do want to get him out. Um, I did keep the Jiren pre-mulligan because I really want him to be my turn 3, and it gives me more turns to kind of basically draw the rest of my fusion pieces. And it looks like the only fusion piece I'm missing right now, at least into the 5-drop Gogeta, is a Goku that is 1,000 power. Or I could actually draw into a 19k Vegeta and use that as a fusion. So I have multiple avenues of fusion, but in order for fusion to work from your hand, they have to be the same exact power. So I have a 19k and a 10k in my hand, so they don't work together. But I just need one of the other pieces. Now I'm also missing the 8-drop Gogeta. Oh no, I'm sorry, he's a 6-drop Gogeta. But with the Vegeta I have in my hand, if I fuse with him, I could search the top 7 cards for Gogeta. Um, and I want to stay unawakened as long as possible because my leader, every time he swings, I got to look at the top 5. No, top 7, I think it is. I forget, it's 5 or 7. Um, and I got to look for a fusion piece, and I could grab anything except for the 6-drop or higher. So it will probably be fairly easy for me to actually get the pieces that I need. Now, in this case, I kind of misplayed. This Goku, I thought he was a little bit better than he actually was for a second, because he comes in rest mode. So I was like, oh, he can't combo him off. But the weird thing is with that Goku, it has like a pointless effect. Essentially, if you play him, he gets played before the charge phase, and he's going to untap anyway, and he's 0 5k combo, so they're going to combo it off with no problem at all. So there's really no point in playing that Goku on their side of the field. I'm going to play the Vegeta, because not only does he have to crit a life, um, it also allows me to swing with something, and he loses 5k for the battle. So I have a crit Vegeta. I could push through crit very easily unless he blocks or negates. Now, the thing with Bulma is my invaders do become blockers for him, so it's kind of weird for me to actually play him on his side of the field, and I'm probably going to stop doing that at this point. I do have a Goku in my hand that I would like to play, so I'll probably play the Goku invader on my side of the field the next turn. So he's playing some of the Bardock package, so he's being a little bit more aggressive, but because there are all these 1-drops, he can attack and also use them as blockers as well. So I did grab the last Gogeta piece. The only thing I need is either Goku or Vegeta of the same power. But I mean, I got plenty of turns because like I said, I like to play Jiren on turn 3. So I'm going to put the 5-drop instead of the 6-drop in there because I could actually search this 5-drop off my leader ability. So I'll probably see him in the next few turns. And I still have 2 turns to actually find him. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the field card to actually -1 of his blockers. because that blocker doesn't actually get the permanent kicking in until he has bond 3. So he's only a 4K or a 5K. So I can minus it as soon as he gets another guy on the field. Like if you run the super combo Nappa, it would become a 15K. So I wanted to get it out of the way right away. Now Vegeta can be a blocker, so I kind of got to play around it. Either make him waste the blocker. Unfortunately, I don't have a Vegeta in hand, so I can't really put it to the bottom of the deck. So just kind of figure out what I want to do at this point. So we were just having a debate whether Vegeta, if you're there at 5 or less, if they actually have to crit a life when draw, or obviously if they're at 4 or less, they don't have to crit the life according to the effect, but they were saying that actually has to draw. But it has been determined on the judge group that being at 5 or less is the triggering condition. So if you do play a Vegeta or even the Raditz card on their side of the field and they have 4 or less life, they will not crit, obviously, but they will also not draw because that's not part of the condition. So I wasn't able to get any fusion piece from the top of my deck, but the really nice thing about this leader is he's able to pull super combos. So by the time you awaken, you probably should have at least 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 super combos in your hand. So that'll be really good for late game. All right, so now I'm going to play my Invader. I know he's not blocking with that Vegeta yet because he wants to save it for the crit, because who wants to take crit? So I'm really trying to bait it out. I have an energy. I'm going to play the Goku. Now, the Goku doesn't do any search effects or anything like that, but it is like a Goku hit, the blue-yellow one, where he gets to attack and then untap at the end of the turn, essentially, and then like he gets 2 blocks out of it. So I'm going to see if he's going to waste the blocker. He's not, which I kind of expected. He's probably going to have to take this hit, and I'm not going to actually swing because I know he's going to block it. I want to keep that Vegeta on the field, and then I could try to get rid of it the next turn, either by bottoming it, or I could minus it with my field card or something. So another weird interaction with the rulings of this field card. Every single turn, you have to shuffle your deck technically, because it doesn't say if you looked in the deck, then shuffle. It just says choose up to 1 card and play it, and then shuffle your deck. So technically, you do have to shuffle every time. Hopefully no one tries to rule shark you on that, but and try to give you like a game loss for forgetting to shuffle. But it's actually nice to be able to search your deck to see what's in it or what ratios are still in it. But at the very least, you could just shuffle it. It might waste some time in real life events. Luckily for untap, it's just hitting a button. But please remember to actually shuffle. All right, so with Bulma, even though this is the slightly more aggressive version out of the 2 games I played, I'm still at 8 life. Now, the thing is, I could pretty much awaken as soon as I get him to 4 or less, but I could take hits pretty easily, and I can still block if I really want to. Now, this Bardock is pretty cool. He gets to take a life, so now he's going to be able to awaken if he wants. And if he does damage to me through battle, then he gets to restand it, and then essentially he's going to get the evolve off of this, because I think he gets to search top 7 cards or something like that, and then he becomes a evolve target basically for the 5-drop Bardock, which is something he really wants to do. So I am going to just block. I have a 19k. He's not going to combo above that, and he's not doing that damage, so I do prevent that play from happening. So he's going to awaken. He has a bunch of cards in hand, but again, I'm at 8 life. He's at 4 life, so he gets to draw 3 cards this turn just from the leader, which is pretty crazy, but no big deal. I still feel pretty good. Now he does have his permanents in play now that he has bond 3, so it's going to be harder to kill his 1-drops. All right, so now he plays this Bardock, and this Bardock is really expensive right now. He was like at 150 the other day, but he's one of the promo cards. He's really, really good in any deck, especially even in King Vegeta. Now, if he has his bond activated, not only does he get critical and plus 11k, so he becomes a 15k crit, he also gets to choose one of my guys and subtract I think it was 400 for every single card he has on the play. So he has 4 cards in play. So that's 16. He gets to minus it. Luckily, my guy is a 19k, so he does still have some attack power, so he's not going to die from that. He asked if I wanted to block. If I block, it's going to die. I would have liked that Goku in my hand because that would have really set up my fusion time or fusion turn. But again, I charged the 5-drop, so I mean it's not likely to happen anyway next turn. And plus, I really want to play that Jiren as soon as possible and just clear his board, not only for the sake of relieving pressure on my part, but also just to get rid of his blockers. So on the turns that I want to go in, I could actually push through damage or get cards out of his hand. So now we got a pretty easy charge. Just because I have 2 of them, don't need them. I don't want to charge super combos. I don't want to charge that Vegeta, especially since I already charged one. There's only a few more left in deck. So now I'm really trying to figure out, do I want to swing first? Because Vegeta does get a minus something by 5k. I think I do forget that they have Bond currently at this time. But I'm going to play Jiren first, just in case he wants to play a Videl negate. And I do see 1 energy open. So Videl is really good in Bulma because it's a negate and a blocker all in 1 turn. So it's like a 2-for-1. But if I play Jiren first and he tries to play the Videl, I'll get a pop it right away at the Jiren. So he's going to block it. Now, I could be wrong about the ruling with this, but I'm pretty sure the -5 that Vegeta does is on the original target, and I think that's what we were trying to discuss, and he agreed on that. But it is kind of a weird timing. I do need to clarify that because technically Vegeta is his card, so it's an auto, and same with Blocker, that's also an auto. So he gets to choose the order of the autos, but I'm not sure because my trigger might, or the trigger might be on the original target of the card. So that's something I do need to look up. But I believe I tried siding with him, saying he gets to choose the order, but him and his friend both decided that it's the original target. So we just played it that way. All right, so now I gotta do the top 5 search. I almost whipped on it, which would have been pretty bad, but I did actually grab the fusion piece that I really need. So this Goku is pretty cool because I actually get to play him off the Invader card on my side because he will make any Goku that I play on my side of the field, or the field card actually makes it a vanilla card, and I could tap 1 red energy, choose a 1-cost Son Goku BR, which technically the childhood one is still a Goku BR. I could bounce him to my hand and then play him with plus 10,000. So he is a 20k swing, and then he has a second activate main in which I could actually put him to the bottom of the deck, and I'm sorry, I could bounce him back to my hand, so I could actually use him as a fusion piece afterwards. So I did choose to use my Awaken. So I got to untap 1, draw a few cards, took a few from life. Since he's really not aggressing me, I just want cards in hand, so I have more fusion opportunities for the next turn. Now, the only thing I really need actually is the 5-drop, which I charged the previous turn. I was hoping to get it, but I did not. So we'll see how that works out. So I did forget that I did swing, and he blocked with his Vegeta. So that attack basically fizzled from the leader. So now I'm just going to really just swing at his 2 Bardock cards. I mean, I could add pressure to his leader, but I really want to destroy his bond. So the Bardock's crew stuff is really good, but it's actually Red's a pretty tough matchup because if you play like the counterplay Yamchas or something, or just minus all their guys, and you could disrupt their bond, then it's actually very beneficial. So I'm going to minus that. I forgot about the permanent, so it's only 10k. So that was bad on my part. But the nice thing is my leader effect does kick in, and I do get to actually minus another 10k. So now at that point, I'm able to kill him off. He loses a blocker, and he has two guys that don't have bond anymore. The one Bardock on the left doesn't go off a bond, but the one on the right, which I really want to get rid of as soon as possible, does have the bond. So now he's just a 4K. He does have that Videl negate like I expected, but Jiren is just going to pop that. So he does get a negate in, but he does lose the blocker. So I did a -5 to the Bardock earlier, and they were saying like, oh, maybe he should be dead, but the Vegeta only minuses it for the battle, so it is actually still alive right now. So I am gonna plus my Unison. I'm not gonna swing at the leader yet, but I'm just gonna swing at his battle card again. Control the field. That would be better for me in the long run, not only to get rid of his aggression, but also to get rid of his blockers while they're still in rest mode. And then it also disrupts his bond. So I'm pretty good for next turn. I have the fusion minus the 5-drop, and I have a blocker, and I have Jiren out. So I think I have control of the field right now. Now, I do have super combos in my hand, but they're not active right now. But if I really want to, I can choose to take a life from my field. Now, I'm just going to say no target because I'm not going to play a Goku on his side of the field because there's no point, like I said earlier. And Vegeta, it looks like I whiffed on. So, still have to shuffle. He's going to play that guy in his energy. He gets to draw 2 from his leader. So he still has a pretty hefty hand. Definitely has advantage hand-wise, but field presence, I'm in a lot more advantage than he is. All right, so it looks like he's playing this girl. I think it's Fasha, and it's basically going to tutor his deck and pick out a Bardock's crew, which he gets to draw 1. So, I mean, he's going to be setting up his Bond 3 fairly quickly, and at the very least, he's getting these cheap blockers out. All right, so the tricky part was he doesn't know what to do because he wants to keep energy open. And I didn't use my Jiren auto on his first one because I figured maybe I could use it on any other guy he plays to turn off his bond. So I'd probably do it on like the third battle card if he played another one. But he's going to pass 2 red energy open. Is telling me he probably has a topo in hand, which is fine. I'm going to swing with my leader, get my draw off anyway. If he gets topo, it's going to die right away between my Jiren and my leader. And there it is. So now he's losing 2 cards out of his hand, and he's losing that battle card. So Topo's not going to put any pressure on me because it's going to die right away. Now, I don't have the Gogeta fusion material yet, but I do have the one I could evolve into later, which is really nice because I can't get that off of my leader effect or the crit Vegeta. So I just need a 5-drop, and I'm set. So now I'm just like, what do I want to do with my energy? I'm going to actually just... I thought I was going to fuse, but then I forgot that I don't have the 5-drop, and I realized I messed up. So I can't do that. So I'm going to take that back. And probably what I'm going to do is probably just pass. I mean, there's really not much I could do with my energy, unfortunately. Maybe I could minus this fascia, but that's essentially all I can do. I'm going to have 3 energy that I can't use. I'm going to probably plus my unison because why not? Topo, I'm not going to try to push through because he has way too many cards in hand, and I'm not going to be able to kill him this turn, most likely, because all he needs is just like 1 Nappa blocker, and that would just stop everything, and I would just waste cards for nothing. So I'm going to just leave 3 open. At least I have 1 for a violent raise, and maybe I could use it for something else later. So I'm going to pass turn. At least I cleared his field. And he lost cards in hand. So he still has a little bit more cards than me, but not by much. Still didn't take the life to get my super combos active. I figured I could probably absorb 1 more hit if I really need to. I also have the violent raise if things do get out of hand. And I also have my Jiren Unison. I could always do the -3 if something out of left field comes out and I just want to kill it. All right, so he charged a really cool card in here. Mirage Maker, basically he gets to take all of his one drops that are red and untap them. So that's actually pretty nasty in here. Now he could only have one of those on the field, but I think he does have to tap the Mirage Maker, which is two red, but that is a pretty cool tech card. Now, if he plays the Bardock's crew stuff and the Bardock leader, they're all three drops, so the Mirage Maker would not work in there. But in Bulma, they have multiple uses. They're going to be searching cards, they're going to be attackers, and they're going to be blockers. And then on a turn he wants to really push in, he could swing them all again. So it's almost like a Super Shenron kind of effect where he gets like, it's not a second turn, but it feels like a second turn by swinging again. As long as there's no floodgate happening on them, all those swings are going to go through. All right, so he's going to play Borgos. Not a bad start because he gets to draw. He gets to start setting up his bond. He's probably trying to bait out my Jiren minus, but I don't want to waste it yet. Ideally, I would want to use it on a second battle card on being played because not only will Jiren hit that guy being played, but then my leader can minus the second card being played. So then I basically swipe two things without even paying one energy. So he's going to play this Videl, and the Videl does be able like it gets a card to his hand and it becomes a blocker. So there's a crazy cycle that you could just keep grabbing them from the drop if you have more than one of those Videls. But I am going to do I'm going to minus both of them. He gets his auto first, so after he chooses his target, I'm going to minus that, and then my leader kicks off, and I'm going to minus that. So he just lost two blockers. Tap two for basically nothing. Well, I shouldn't say basically nothing. He got cards to his hand, but the whole point of Bulma is to really establish a good defense on the field. Now I do see two red energy open again, which is probably telegraphing. He probably has a topo in hand again. So if he topos me again, um, it is what it is. I mean, I could try pushing through, but again, I'm just going to be killing my hand. He's going to be able to survive. It would just be a bad choice. I think it would just be better to be patient if he does do topo again, and I'll just do exactly what I did before by killing it. Well, he taps another, so topo's not coming out. He gets a blocker out of this, but doesn't bother me because I could just easily kill that. All right, so feels pretty bad. I still don't have my 5-drop, so I can actually combo off the 19k crit, which seems kind of dumb because I'm getting rid of a free crit guy, but I could always play this other critical Vegeta in top 5 search and hopefully get the actual the target that I'm looking for. So he is blocking, and it does seem like a waste that I am comboing this, but I want to play the other one in my hand, and it does have unique, so I need to get rid of it first. And this is where I misplayed because I realized I don't have the Vegeta in my deck. And so I'm going to take a life. My super combos are now active, and there's that Vegeta that I wish was in my deck. But the nice thing is I do have two super combos. I can put it back in my deck, but unfortunately, since I'm using the field card right now, I'm not able to actually do it this turn, but I could do it next turn. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get them, but looks like there's only two targets left. I grab a Goku. Um, since I can't do the Vegeta play and search the top 5, I might as well do the Goku play. Now, I don't have another Goku blocker in my hand, but this is the vanilla thing I was telling you about. So this Goku is a Son Goku BR. It's not Goku BR Childhood or anything like that. So not only can I use him as a fusion material with that Vegeta in my hand, I can actually play this, return it to my hand because it is a 1-drop vanilla Goku BR, and now he's 20k, all for 1 energy. And this doesn't feel bad because I could just bounce it back to my hand and get that free combo power back or use it as a fusion material. Now, I do have both Young Invaders in my hand, which I could use them for fusion material, but I have plenty of better fusion materials in my hand. So most likely I'll probably try to bottom the Vegeta as soon as I can. And that way, the next turn, if I still don't have the 5-drop Gogeta in my hand, I could probably search it out with the crit Vegeta. So I am going to return that to my hand. He did negate, um, but then Jiren popped it, so he lost the blocker out of it. And now I could probably just swing with my blocker because it's going to untap anyway. And now I have 4 energy. And is there anything else I could really do with my 4 energy? Unless I hard cast something. And there's really nothing worth to hard cast. So I'm going to just do that and then probably swing with my Jiren as well. Oh, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So I figured I'm not going to get the Gogeta play anyway, and I have all this energy to play with. I still have one I could use for Violent Rays, so I might as well at least hard cast them. It's not most optimal, but it's the best I could do with the hand I have, and I still whiff. And the Kai Secret Rare was coming next, so that would have been nice to have in hand. But hey, I get my 3rd out of 4th super combo, so that's still not too bad. It's better than whiffing. I got a swing now with a crit. It's going to probably go through, and this is probably, I'm going to probably throw a super combo, I think, on top of this, and probably bottom that Vegeta. Or the Goku. Alright, maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to use a super combo, because this leader is a 10k, so making it 24 would actually be pretty good, because he's going to have to use a super combo, and then another card. If I left it at 19k, uses super combo, he basically stays at the same hand size. So I'm at least making him not only waste a super combo, but waste cards in his hand. Now it's my 11 to his 12 in hand, plus I have leader pressure, or field pressure. So I'm going to swing at my Unison. I did not plus, I don't think, because I don't want to give him 2 cards for no reason. So I probably made this 20 single. Yep. And I'll probably just plus it afterwards. I know I'm not going to win this turn, so at least if I get him down to 2, he'll be in double strike range. So now he is at 2, so next turn I'll have my Jiren active to go for game, or I'll have some double strikes in for game. And let's see, I have 5 energy at the very least next turn. If I don't see the 5-drop for the fusion, I could hard cast the 6-drop, which seems like it would be bad because I'll be tapping out for that. But actually, it's going to have actually a benefit of actually hard casting the 6-drop the next turn rather than fusing it. So this whole game, he has not dealt 1 damage to me. So not as quite as aggressive as I remembered it as. But again, everything he's been able to play since I got Jiren out hasn't been able to stick really. He did have at least 1 aggressive turn, but I was able to survive or at least fend everything off. So now our hand sizes are getting a little bit closer. Well, maybe they're not getting closer. He still has 4 cards more than me, but I have a pretty large hand. I got 3 super combos. I think I'm pretty good right now. All right, so he plays the Mai, and the Mai is actually pretty good because it does have barrier. It is blocker. It gets him draw a card, and I really can't actually minus that at all, unless I use my Jiren's -3, which seems like a waste. Which actually, what I have in my hand, what I'm going to try to do next turn is, if I can't fuse, I could just play the 6-drop, and I could pop his blocker, his barrier blocker with Jiren, and if I get the play off and he has no field, I could actually evolve into, I think it's a 10-drop Gogeta. But basically, he's going to sweep my field. He is playing the Goku, but I'm able to kill that Goku off with both Jiren and leader effect. So he does sweep my field. So he is relieving pressure, but I do have that Jiren, and I could always double strike that. He has 1 energy open, so I'm not going to get topoed, but I could get Violent Raid. So I still don't get it. So fusing is not going to happen. But again, like I was saying, I have other avenues to seal the deal. So I'm just doing this just to draw, maybe waste a blocker to kind of bait it out or bait out and negate. So he does the Vidal gate, negate. Jiren's going to pop that. Unfortunately, my leader effect will go off because it's mandatory, um, but I can't kill off his Mai. Um, so now I am going to do Jiren to leader. I didn't plus it, so he's actually going to block it because I would have just minused it because I wanted to clear his field. So now here comes the cheeky play. All right, so I am hard casting this for 6. Now, typically, if I do the evolve effect, it has an auto that says I cannot play any more battle cards for the turn, but that's only if I evolve it. Since I hard casted it, I can actually play more cards this turn. Now, I am minusing his leader 20k, and his leader's already pretty weak as it is, and I think he's 35 double strike. So I have super combos in my hand. I could have just really just went all in and won there, but I'm kind of maybe being a little bit of a jerk by not just evolving and just saying good game. I'm making him think that he just lived. So I'm going to deplete his hand just to end up winning anyway. All right, so even at that, like I could have easily just comboed 1 or 2 super combos. I think he would have lost right there. But he does get the 40k even if even though I did subtract his leader minus 10 or 2 negative 10. But now I'm just going to evolve this. All I have to do is discard 2 red cards, and he has to have no fuel or no battle cards in play, which he doesn't. So I'm going to just discard any 2 just to evolve. And then his auto goes off. If they have no cards in play when he gets played, I actually get to choose the cards he crits from his life. But he only has 2 left, so that is a burn damage for the win. So this is actually a pretty good card for those like control matches. If you could get this off, there's really not much they can do unless they have like cold bloodlust or something that's going to negate the effect. But there we go. So I got a little bit of a cheeky win, but I mean that's part of the win. I wanted to actually like see how this play would work out, and it looked like I would have been able to combo out of that because he had 2 dead cards in hand, so he only had 10, 20, 25 left. So 2 super combos would have not pushed through, but if I did all 3 super combos, it would have definitely been the game. Well, that is the end of the game. I am going to also try to post up a Bojack match versus this budget version of King Vegeta. All right, guys, have a good one. Stay loco.